Think and Grow Rich, Chapter 12. The Subconscious Mind, the Connecting Link. The 11th step towards riches. The subconscious mind consists of a field of consciousness in which every impulse of thought that reaches the objective mind through any of the five senses is classified and recorded, and from which thoughts may be recalled or withdrawn as letters may be taken from a filing cabinet. It receives and files sense impressions or thoughts regardless of their nature. You may voluntarily plant in your subconscious mind any plan, thought, or purpose which you desire to translate into a physical or monetary equivalent. The subconscious acts first on the dominating desires which have been mixed with the emotional feeling, such as faith. Consider this in connection with the instructions given in the chapter on desire for taking the 6 steps there outlined, and the instructions given in the chapter on the building and execution of plans, and you will understand the importance of the thought conveyed. Conscious mind works day and night. Through a method of procedure unknown to man, the subconscious mind draws upon the forces of infinite intelligence for the power with which it voluntarily transmutes one's desire into their physical equivalent, making use always of the most practical media by which this end may be accomplished. You cannot entirely control your subconscious mind, but you can voluntarily hand over to it any plan, desire, or purpose which you wish transformed into concrete form. Read again instructions for using the subconscious minds in the chapter on autosuggestion. There is plenty of evidence to support the belief that the subconscious mind is the connecting link between the finite mind of man and infinite intelligence. It is intermediary through which one may draw upon the forces of infinite intelligence at will. Alone contains a secret process by which mental impulses are modified and changed into their spiritual equivalent. It alone is the medium through which prayer may be transmitted to the source capable of answering prayer. The possibilities of creative effort connected with the subconscious minds are stupendous and imponderable. They inspire one with awe. Approach the discussion of the subconscious mind without a feeling of littleness and inferiority, due perhaps to the fact that man's entire stocks of knowledge on this subject is so pitifully limited. The very fact that the subconscious mind is a medium of communication between the thinking mind of men and infinite intelligence is of itself a thought which almost paralyzes one's reason. To have accepted as a reality the existence of the subconscious mind and understand its possibilities as a medium for transmuting your desires into their physical or monetary equivalents, you will comprehend the full significance of the instructions given in the chapter on desire. You will also understand why you have been repeatedly admonished to make your desire clear and to reduce them to writing. You will also understand the necessity of persistence in carrying out instructions. The 13 principles are the stimuli with which you acquire the ability to reach and to influence your subconscious mind. Do not become discouraged. If you cannot do this upon the first attempt, remember that the subconscious mind may be voluntarily directed only through habit. By the direction given in the chapter on faith, you have not yet had time to master faith. Be patient and be persistent. A good many statements in the chapter on faith and autosuggestion will be repeated here for the benefit of your subconscious mind. Remember, your subconscious mind functions voluntarily whether you make any effort to influence it or not. This naturally suggests to you that thoughts of fear and poverty and all negative thoughts serve as stimuli to your subconscious mind unless you master these impulses and give it more desirable food upon which it may feed. The subconscious mind will not remain idle. If you fail to plant desire into your subconscious mind, it will feed upon the thoughts which read it as the result of your neglect. You have already explained that thought impulses, both negative and positive, are reaching the subconscious and mind continuously from the four sources which were mentioned in the chapter on sex transmutation. For the present, it is sufficient if you remember that you are living daily in the midst of all manner of thoughts, impulses which are reaching your subconscious mind without your knowledge. Some of these impulses are negative, some are positive. You are now engaged in trying to help shut oil and flow of negative impulses and to aid involuntarily influencing your subconscious mind through positive impulses of desire. When you achieve this, you will possess the key which unlocks the door to your subconscious mind. Moreover, you will control that door so completely that no undesirable thoughts may influence your subconscious mind. Everything which means create begins in the form of a thought impulse. Man can create nothing which he does not first conceive in thought. Through the aid of the imagination, thought impulses may be assembled into plans. The imagination, when under control, may be used for the creation of plans or purpose that lead to success in one's chosen occupation. All thought impulses intended for transmutation into their physical equivalent, voluntarily planted in the subconscious mind, must pass through the imagination and be mixed with faith. The mixing of faith with the plan or purpose intended for submission to the subconscious mind may be done only through the imagination. From these statements, you will readily observe that voluntarily use of the subconscious mind calls for coordination and application of all the principles. Taylor Wilcox gave evidence of her understanding of the power of the subconscious mind when she wrote, "You never can tell what a thought will do in bringing you hate or love. For thoughts are things and their airy wings are swifter than carrier doves. Then follow the law of universe. Each thing creates its kind, and they speed over the track to bring you back whatever went out from your mind." Mrs. Wilcox understood the truth that thoughts which go out from one's mind also embedded themselves deeply in one's subconscious mind, where they serve as a magnet pattern or blueprint by which the subconscious mind is influenced while translating them into their physical equivalent. Thoughts are truly things for the reason that every material thing begins in the form of thought energy. Mind is more susceptible to influence by impulse of thoughts mixed with feeling or emotions than by those originating solely in the reasoning portion of the mind. In fact, there is much evidence to support the theory that only emotionalized thoughts have any action influence upon the subconscious mind. It is a well known fact that emotion of feelings rules the majority of people. If it is true that the subconscious mind responds more quickly so and is influenced more readily by thought impulses which are well mixed with emotion, it is essential to become familiar with the more important of the emotions. There are seven major positive emotions and seven major negative emotions. The negative voluntarily inject themselves into the thoughts impulses, which ensures passage into the subconscious mind. The positives must be injected through the principle of autosuggestion into the thoughts impulses which an individual wishes to pass on to this subconscious mind. Instructions have been given in the chapter on autosuggestion. These emotions or feeling impulses may be likened to yeast in a loaf of bread because they constitute the action element which transforms thought impulses from the passive to the active state. Thus, may be one understand why thought impulses which have been well mixed with emotions are acted upon more readily than thought impulses originating in cold reason. You are preparing yourself to influence and control the inner audience of the subconscious mind in order to hand over to the desire for money, which you wish transmuted into its monetary equivalent. It is essential, therefore, that you understand the method of approach to this inner audience. You must speak its language, or it will not heed your call. It understands best the language of emotions or feeling. Let us therefore describe here the seven major positive emotions and the seven major negative emotions, so that you may draw upon the positive and avoid the negatives when giving instructions to the subconscious mind. The seven major positive emotion: desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, and hope. There are other positive emotions, but these are the seven most powerful and the ones most commonly used in creative effort. Master these seven emotions. They can be mastered only by the use, and the other positive emotions will be at your command when you need them. Remember in this connection that you are studying a book which is intended to help you develop a monetary consciousness by filling your mind with positive emotions. One does not become money conscious by filling one's mind with negative emotions. The seven major negative emotions to be avoided: fear, jealousy, hatred, revenge, greed, superstitious, anger. Positive and negative emotions cannot occupy the mind at the same time. One or the other must dominate. It's your responsibility to make sure that positive emotions constitute the dominating influence of your mind. Here, the law of habit will come to your aid. From the habit of applying and using the positive emotions, eventually they will dominate your mind so completely that the negatives cannot enter it. Only by following these instructions literally and continuously can you gain control over your subconscious mind. The presence of a single negative in your conscious mind is sufficient to destroy all chances of constructive aid from your subconscious mind. If you are an observing person, you must have noticed that most people resort to prayer only after everything else has failed, or else they pray by a rituals of meaningless words. And because it is a fact that most people who pray do so only after everything else has failed, they go to the prayer with their minds filled with fear and doubt, which are the emotions the subconscious mind acts upon and passes on to indefinite intelligence. Likewise, that is the emotions which infinite intelligence receives and acts upon. If you pray for a thing but have fear as you pray that you may not receive it, or that your prayer will not be acted upon by infinite intelligence, your prayer will have been in vain. Prayer does sometimes results in the realization of that for which one pray. If you have ever had the experience of receiving that for which you prayed, go back in your memory and recall your actual state of mind. While you were praying, you will know for sure that the theory here described is more than a theory. The time will come when the schools and educational institutions of the country will teach the science of prayer. Moreover, then prayer may be and will be reduced to a science when that time comes. It will come as soon as mankind is ready for it and demands it. No one will approach a universal mind in a state of fear for the very good reason that there will be no such emotions as fear. Ignorance, superstitions, and false teaching will have disappeared, and man will have attained his true status as a child of infinite intelligence. A few have already attained this blessing. You believe this prophecy is far fetched. Take a look at the human race in retrospect. Less than 100 years ago, men believed the lightning to be evidence of the wrath of God and feared it. Now, thanks to the power of faith, men have harnessed the lightning and made it run the wheel of industry. Much less than 100 years ago, men believed the space between the planets to be nothing but a great void. a stretch of dead nothingness. Now, thanks to this same power of faith, men know that far from being either dead or a void, the space between the planet is very much alive, and that it is the highest form of vibrations known, excepting perhaps the vibration of thoughts. Moreover, men know that this living, pulsating, vibrating energy which permeates every atom of matter and fills every niche of a space, connects every human brain with every other human brain. What reason have men to believe that this same energy does not connect every human brain with infinite intelligence? There are no tall gates between the infinite mind of men and infinite intelligence. The communication costs nothing except patience, faith, persistence, understanding, and sincere desire to communicate. Moreover, the approach can be made only by the individual himself. Paid prayers are worthless. Infinite intelligence does no business by proxy. You either go direct or you do not communicate. You may buy prayers book and repeat them until the day of your doom without avail. Thoughts which you wish to communicate to infinite intelligence must undergo transformations such as can be given only through your own subconscious mind. The method by which you may communicate with infinite intelligence is very similar to that through which the vibration of sound is communicated by radio. If you understand the working principle of radio, you of course know that sound cannot be communicated through the either until it has been stepped out or changed into a rate of vibration which the human ear cannot detect. The radio sending stations pick up the sound of the human voice and scrambles or modifies it by stepping up the vibration millions of times. In this way, can the vibration of sound be communicated through the either? After this transformation has taken place, the ether picks up the energy which originally was in the form of vibration of sound, carries that energy to radio receiving station, and these receiving sets steps that energy back down to its original rate of vibration, so it is recognized as sound. The subconscious mind is intermediary which translates one's prayer into terms which infinite intelligence can recognize, presents the message, and brings back the answer in the form of a definite plan or idea for procuring the objects of the prayer. Understand this principle, and you will know why mere words read from a prayer book cannot and will never serve as an agency of communication between the mind of men and infinite intelligence. Before your prayer will reach infinite intelligence as a statement of the author's theory only, it probably is transformed from its original thoughts vibration into terms of spiritual vibrations. Faith is the only known agency which will give you thoughts of spiritual nature. Faith and fear make poor bedfellows. Where one is found, the other cannot exist.